E-learning, e-learning, e-learning. It's all the rage. But how do we make it absorb-worthy? Well, first, we have to look at what makes good e-learning. Bad versus the good. What makes e-learning bad? Boring. Big snore. Falling asleep. What do I fall asleep on? Big blocks of text on the screen. No images. No highlighting. It's all boring. It doesn't catch my attention. Where's the excitement? What makes e-learning good? It's our mission to engage the student, bring in the excitement. That's very good. Very, very good. How do we meet this mission to engage? It's all about multimedia learning. We're in the 21st century. Let's start with Richard Mayer's multimedia principle. And that says we use narration and vocal emphasis, kind of like I'm doing right now, with animation, images that support learning. Don't just give the data, show the data. Here are examples of Richard Mayer's multimedia learning principle. Animation and narration, or on the bottom, animation, narration with on-screen text. Look at the difference. Which one is easier to read and follow along? Also, a separated presentation, or the text is integrated with the presentation. I think you'll agree that integrating the text with the presentation is much easier to grasp the knowledge and follow along. As we know, folks learn better with redundancy. Include animation, narration, text, and when words and pictures are integrated, not separated, we're creating a positive learning environment. Those examples were great, but you say, how do we do this? Where do we start? How do we engage students to meet the mission? We start with a lot of help from Absorbing Man. Again, as part of Richard Mayer's learning principle, we must have absorb topics. So we need Absorbing Man to help along. That great hero from the Marvel Comics who has the power to form any material he touches, absorbing the property of the material itself. Now let's get going. Here we go. Absorb activities to the rescue. Absorb activities includes information and actions that learners take to extract and comprehend knowledge. This means before you know it, those learners will be absorbing new knowledge. These activities require learners to read, listen, or watch. There's a multitude of learning and absorbing activities. Examples include presentations, readings, field trips, real field trips, virtual field trips, including podcasts, presentations, slideshows, and sharing stories. And speaking of stories, who doesn't love a good story? Story absorbing comes naturally. That's why storytelling is a great absorb activity for learning and engagement. It harnesses such power. It's the power to make the information purposefully, visually, emotional, relatable. Storytelling makes information real, personal, and authentic. It could be stories by the teacher or stories by the learner. Now take a look at this video. It's called The Hero's Journey. It really explains the elements of a good story.
What What do Harry Potter, Katniss Everdeen, and Frodo all have in common with the heroes of ancient myths? What if I told you they are all variants of the same hero? Do you believe that? Joseph Campbell did. He studied myths from all over the world and published a book called The Hero with 1,000 Faces, retelling dozens of stories and explaining how each represents the monomyth, or hero's journey. So, what is the hero's journey? Think of it as a cycle. The journey begins and ends in the hero's ordinary world, but the quest passes through an unfamiliar, special world. Along the way, there are some key events. Think about your favorite book or movie. Does it follow this pattern? Status quo, that's where we start. 1 o'clock, call to adventure. The hero receives a mysterious message, an invitation, a challenge. 2 o'clock, assistance. The hero needs some help, probably from someone older, wiser. 3 o'clock, departure. The hero crosses the threshold from his normal, safe home and enters the special world and adventure. We're not in Kansas anymore. 4 o'clock, trials. Being a hero is hard work. Our hero solves a riddle, slays a monster, escapes from a trap. 5 o'clock, approach. It's time to face the biggest ordeal, the hero's worst fear. 6 o'clock, crisis. This is the hero's darkest hour. He faces death and possibly even dies, only to be reborn. 7 o'clock, treasure. As a result, the hero claims some treasure, special recognition, or power. 8 o'clock, result. This can vary between stories. Do the monsters bow down before the hero, or do they chase him as he flees from the special world? 9 o'clock, return. After all that adventure, the hero returns to his ordinary world. 10 o'clock, new life. This quest has changed the hero. He has outgrown his old life. 11 o'clock, resolution. All the tangled plot lines get straightened out. 12 o'clock, status quo, but upgraded to a new level. Nothing is quite the same once you're a hero. Many popular books and movies follow this ancient formula pretty closely, but let's see how well The Hunger Games fits the hero's journey template. When does Katniss Everdeen hear a call to adventure that gets the story moving? When her sister's name is called from the lottery. How about assistance? Is anyone going to help her on her adventure? Hey, Mitch. What about departure? Does she leave her ordinary world? She gets on a train to the capital. Okay, so you get the idea. What do you have in common with Harry Potter, Katniss Everdeen, and Frodo? Well, you're human, just like them. The hero's journey myth exists in all human cultures and keeps getting updated because we humans reflect on our world through symbolic stories of our own lives. You leave your comfort zone, have an experience that transforms you, and then you recover and do it again. You don't literally slay dragons or fight Voldemort, but you face problems just as scary. Joseph Campbell said, "In the cave you fear to enter lies the treasure you seek." What is the symbolic cave you fear to enter? Auditions for the school play? Baseball tryouts? Love? Watch for this formula in books, movies, and TV shows you come across. You will certainly see it again, but also be sensitive to it in your own life. Listen for your call to adventure. Accept the challenge. Conquer your fear and claim the treasure you seek. And then do it all over again.
So as you can see, good e-learning sure helps learners to remember. It makes it fun. The action words equal active, engaged learning. These action words can also be seen in Bloom's taxonomy. So we could say Bloom's taxonomy equals good e-learning. So what will you absorb today? What will your learners absorb today? Can they become like Absorbing Man?